believe are very important in all of our lives. And again, the mantra of this movement, right? Freedom. So I'm excited to share what I'm covering tonight. Again, we don't have testimonies tonight. Everybody is out knocking out their rank advancements. And of course, I don't want to slow that down, but I'm recording this because this is going to be valuable information. So you guys get to hear it first, but it'll be uploaded to YouTube and put into our Facebook group because of the quality of information you're about to get. This is golden stuff. And it's going to actually be repetitive. Some of the business and entrepreneur-minded people who've been in business for years, this will basically reinforce the things that got you to where you are, and hopefully can even elevate you even further as you implement and practice them even more. This is the foundation of success, guys. It doesn't really matter what it is, right? We could talk about golf for Tiger Woods. We could talk about ice hockey for Wayne Gretzky. I mean, you name it, doesn't matter what the practice is. These skill sets, this actual stage of competence, if you will, I'm about to cover, it actually is in everything. And so if you don't recognize it, it's because you haven't been shown it. And it's okay. We're not taught these things. We literally have to live them. And of course, we call them life experiences, right? So I'm going to cover some things real quick. First and foremost, about the mentality of learning a new skill, right? And anything for that matter, not just a new skill, but an area of competence or incompetence. See, the sad thing is, most of us don't recognize that there is a hypnotic rhythm, whether it be good or bad in our lives. We create that rhythm, right? Or sometimes we're attracted by someone else's vibration and we tend to attach ourselves to their wavelength and follow along, which is 98% of people, according to some books that I've read, are people who will just follow along with the current. And then there's a 2%, you think about people who lead this world, right? The 2% income earners, or 2% of any asset or facet of life, right? The top 2% are usually the outliers, okay? Those are the 2% that don't go with the norm. They break the norm, right? And they don't follow a trend. They create the trends, if you will. And so here are these levels of competency that allow you to create habits, right? That wavelength or that hypnotic rhythm that just happens either in your favor or against you, right? Because the habits, once they're repeated, create a avalanche, if you will, or a snowball effect of whatever that habit being good or bad. Let's use health, for example, right? If you're eating well and exercising and drinking lots of water, and you do that consistently as a habit, what happens to your health? You eventually are going to be fairly healthy, right? So the same thing happens if you were drinking sugary drinks and not exercising and eating sugary, salty, high sodium, eating bad food and not exercising, the exact opposite. It still creates a rhythm. What does that rhythm get you in the end? It gets you bad health and all the things you don't want, right? And so let me explain what I mean here in these 4 stages of competence. Wherever you are, right, in your level of success or that you things that you anticipate to achieve, you had to start off with a level of unconscious competence. Unconscious incompetence, meaning you didn't know, right? And so that's where we start off with any new thing, right? Anything that we're trying to develop or get good at is we don't know what we don't know. And so you have to learn what it is you don't know. And eventually, right, you become knowledgeable of what you don't know. This is the first stage of learning, right? Because when you look at a bike, someone riding on the bike, that person riding the bike looks pretty easy, right? But you don't know what you don't know, right? So the minute you jump on that bike, immediately you see what you didn't know, right? So that's what I mean about unconscious incompetence. You're going to fall over and over and over again because you didn't realize. You saw how easy it was for them. You just knew it was going to be simple, right? And so that is where we start off learning pretty much anything, okay? And so we're literally ignorant to something. We're lost, and it's not our own fault because we were unaware of it altogether, right? But once you repetitively plug into whatever that competency is, right? So you get back on the bike, someone holds you up, you get back on the bike, someone holds you up. Those repetitive things, guys, allow you to become consciously incompetent. So now you know you didn't know, but you're practicing. You're in the environment, right? This increases your level of understanding. Again, anything that we do in life, right? So we can equate this to business, entrepreneurship, financial satisfaction, or a freedom, or anything like that. And I'm just covering this stuff, guys, because this is the habits that we're creating that allow us to move through these stages. Conscious competence simply means now you knew you didn't know, but you've practiced enough to now you're competent, right? So now I knew I had to keep riding, and now I'm riding the bike efficiently and effectively. So now I'm not just needing someone to help me, holding me up on the bike. I'm actually doing it on my own because I'm consciously competent, right? Now I'm in the position where I can possibly help others because I'm competent and can teach you how those stages work because I've lived them, right? It's hard to do that, right? Say you enroll someone brand new, it's hard to actually help someone who's unconsciously incompetent when you're brand new and unconsciously incompetent. So it would make sense to lean on what? The people who are in the higher level of conscious competence or incompetence or anywhere above where you are. So just leaning on people, guys, is what we do. I want you to feel good about our system. Plugging into the trading Q&A with Mr. Dan Allen on Saturday, being plugged in here on Sunday evenings, having your guests on all of our daily opportunity calls. These things are allowing you to become more competent in your business, but leveraging a system that doesn't require your time and energy, right? So it's a powerful concept. And the last stage, guys, is unconscious competence, right? This is where you don't even have to think about riding the bike. Now you literally ride the bike with one hand, with no hands, maybe even popping wheelies, jumping ramps. You're at another level. You're the X Games of competence, right? On your in your bike riding journey. Okay. And so there's a whole level, another level of competence. So when you look and you see David Luciaga at Legend, right, in his first year, well, maybe he's already gone through these stages of competence in entrepreneurship and building a network marketing business. And he was actually positioned in the right place at the right time where his success could seem instantaneous. But guess what? He still started somewhere here. You don't know if it was last year, 10 years, whatever it was ago, but we all have to go through our own journey, right? And so this is the level of competence I wanted to share. And then I wanted to give you a little bit of housekeeping in your own mind, right? Here's some things I've learned, right? Because I always haven't been positive. I haven't always been a positive person. I haven't always been someone who spoke highly of everyone, right? I had to learn those skills because it wasn't being taught when I grew up. So being in that environment allowed me to change some things about myself that allowed me to grow myself and those around me, okay? And so here's one of the things that helped me grow, and I think it'll help some of you, maybe if you've already experienced it, or maybe you're already efficient in these manners, but I love this stuff, okay? Let me share it with you. The 4 Agreements. It's a great book if you want to get it, but the principles are easy enough to understand, okay? Now we're going to document this. So again, when I say housekeeping, we're going to basically housekeep our mindset and our spirit and our energy, that wavelength that I talked about, creating the right vibration so we can attract the things that we're looking for and not the things we don't want, because either way, we're creating a vibration. It happens with our words, our images, and our thoughts. Our actions, of course, come on the back end of that. We don't commit to any action physically, guys, until way before way after we've already thought it through, right? The beginning of everything starts with the thought. And that wavelength and that energy, guys, is what permeates to our future, right? We develop our future. We don't just become victims of it. You create it, right? And so here's some things that I believe help you create your future, the right one we want. Being impeccable with your word. I can't even say it. Be impeccable with your word. And it really isn't about language. You might even stutter. You might have a speech impediment. I mean, it could be a list, but you can have all kinds of different things going on with your language because of where your dialect is from. It doesn't matter. What it means is speak with integrity. Say what you mean. That's way more important than how you say it. is meaning what you say, okay? And that's what we mean. Avoid using uh, the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others, right? So that energy, that vibration creates the wrong vibration. You don't want to do that. So don't speak about other people in gossip or speak bad about it, right? I think these are some of the principles you might have already learned as a kid from your parents, right? Use the power of the word in the direction of truth and love. So that means do what? Speak highly, speak life into people. So that's number one of the four agreements. And these agreements in the book, it talks about make these agreements with yourself. Don't challenge others. If you do it, it actually just creates a better life for you. And all the things around you start to manifest the way you had anticipated and would like them to. So don't take anything personal. I've found that I've created a lot of friends in entrepreneurship and business and network marketing. And I just see so many hurt people who want to hurt people. It is not uh, uncommon that people are quick-witted and snappy in all cultures. And people are so quick to take offense to things, more so now than I think ever in any time period in our lives. So, nothing others do is because of you, right? And when we accept these things, it allows us to not take things personal. I know it might sound strange to some people, right? But what others say and do is a projection of their own reality and their own dream, right? So what does that have to do with you because of the words that they might say, right? Or their thoughts that they might say? If they don't put their hands on you, shouldn't ever take it what? Personal, right? When you are immune to the options and actions of others, you will never be the victim of needless suffering. Okay? That's huge. I mean, I want you to hear that again. When you're immune to the options and actions of others, right? So your livelihood and your happiness is never dependent upon anything outside of you. It's inner. Man, strong stuff. Number three, don't make assumptions. Could you imagine what the world would be like if people did no longer assume and they took things for face value on fact, right? Not in a world of fake everything, fake news. I think that's Robert Kiyosaki's latest book, fake money, fake news. So never make assumptions because obviously that's not going to be a quality decision. You don't have the facts. Find the courage to ask questions. Always find out for sure to express what you really want. Don't guess and hope and assume. Communicate with others as clearly as you can. That's important in business. You, as partners in business or in life, if we want to have quality relationships, right, we have to be able to communicate. Avoid misunderstanding, sadness, and drama by always clearly and openly communicating. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. I challenge you to try these four agreements because some of them are going to be a challenge. I promise you. I promise you. Maybe even all four, right? Depending on where you are in your levels of competency in these four agreements in life, right? And so apply these things in your life and in your business and watch things just begin to be able to manifest the way you want. So you're always do your best. We've all been told it, right? Good is the enemy of great. I promise you, when you are passionate about not going to sleep and not wanting to go to bed, or you can't wait to get up. I'm sorry, you don't want to go to bed because you're excited and you can't wait to get up, so you don't even want to get to sleep, guys. That's when you know you're operating at your highest vibration, when you're just absolutely ecstatic about life, right? Which means you're probably in a stage of doing your best, creating your best life. We hear it all the time in the music, on the radio, or now everywhere in the social world, living your best life. What does that mean? That absolutely should mean what? Your best is going to change from moment to moment because it requires you to be your best in different circumstances, right? So different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. And I'm not saying, guys, we don't need to sleep. Okay, don't misquote me there. I'm simply saying that you want to be on fire about life, about your goals, about what it is you're looking to accomplish, which means you shouldn't give anything other than the best version of you to every relationship and to everything that you aspire to put your name on. So I'm excited, guys, on where we're going with this project. Remember, we're here every single Sunday. I'm not specifically going to do again any more testimonies tonight, but I will answer some questions in case that you guys might have some B quadrant questions. The website is very slow, which we're excited to at least have it back up. I anticipated some more bugs personally, having gone through my stages of competency in business and knowing that technology can have issues, right? So first and foremost, the site is up. It's a little slow, and they are behind on the placements, which are still, still showing some pause. But you are able to enroll people, and I encourage you to just stay to business phase one, doing what we do, sharing and caring. And of course, the system things will take care of themselves. None of those things can we control. Let's just control the things we can, right? And do our best. All right. So let me open up the Q&A. Instead of opening it up for all 20 of us, I will just let you guys either type in the chat or raise your hand. I'll allow you guys to be unmuted, and we'll jump right into some Q&A. Thank you all for listening to my soapbox rant on competency, levels of competency, and the 4 agreements. Any questions? B quadrant questions, Tradera-based questions, membership questions, why we all love you questions. If you don't love yourself, okay. I don't see any hands going up. Anyone have any questions? There was my man, Dan. Let me go ahead and unmute my guy. Mr. Allen, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Rams, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, my brother.
It's always so refreshing that we work off the same wavelength. I treat my life from the 4 agreements and the 4 stages of consciousness, and then there's one more with the 4 knowledges, right? The way you learn. So when watching you talk about it today is just always fun, because I'm always looking for where my unconscious incompetent lies. I call those my blind spots now, because you never know what you don't know until you find out you don't know it. I normally get that by some type of negative feedback from the universe. So just watching you talk about it and putting your own spin on it was just super refreshing. So that's really it for me. As I started trading back in 2018, I started with that I was going to go through the 4 knowledges, which is activity knowledge, learned knowledge, activity knowledge, modeling knowledge, and teacher knowledge, and taking those through the 4 stages of consciousness. So when I would talk about my 7-figure game plan for trading, I'm working on being unconsciously competent on my skill set, and that only comes from the activity. So just wanted to say I super appreciate how you show up all the time. And I turn it back over to you.
Absolutely, sir. Just following in your footsteps, my brother. I'm following an incredible line of leadership, including yourself. All right, guys. Any other questions? Don't see any, guys. So I'm going to, of course, let you guys have your time back. We, of course, have till midnight Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, for a closeout of business. Load the system up, break it again. I encourage you to break it again. We have lots of folks trying to get in, so don't stop pumping them in. They'll get placed somehow, but I would not miss trying to shoot for a rank because you're anticipating the system to do a better job. I would definitely, it's taking applications, so I would get them plugged in on the links that you need them plugged in on, and then make sure you get screenshots in case they don't place by midnight tonight. I would screenshot exactly where you are, what your ranks are on all of your qualification, in case you do have some already in the holding tanks that haven't placed, that might push you over qualification, and that way you can get paid next week after showing that, in case there are errors in the placement of your holding tank people, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna say it again. do not miss the opportunity to rank up tonight, because the system may not have your people who are in the holding tank. So continue to put people in, but document who they are, what positions, of course, you're placing them in, and of course, taking screenshots of your back office to show your rank before midnight and what you needed. And of course, those names of people who we have in the holding tanks that may have not placed yet. And so I know it sounds tedious, but that might not be important to you if, you know, that check isn't that important to you in ranking up. Me personally, I'm going to be pushing until midnight to see if I can make that happen. Whether or not it does is just the fact that I have to do my best, right? Any other questions? Let's see, hand is raised. Okay, thank you, Dan. I don't see the hand, but I'll look for it. Oh, let me go. I think that's Mr. Harshaw. Got you unmuted, sir. Can you hear me?
Rambus, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You are unmuted.
Hey, just a quick question, sir. I was just going to say, how long does it take you to become competent in your consciousness?
That is a good question. Let me kind of touch on that. To become unconsciously competent, that is obviously going to take, first and foremost, going through every phase. And so just depends on how well you can move through each stage, which could be months, could be years, who knows, right? Everyone has to go through their own journey. But I believe with a systematic approach, right? If you can follow a system, you can move through these things much faster. Imagine having to create a system, right? That means you have to do these things in an organic state, having to bump your head and scratch your knee and creating the path of success, right? So there's a difference in following someone gone through these stages of competence who built out a system, as there is having to go through these stages, which takes much more time to develop a system, if that makes sense. So people who can follow, and again, play adult games of follow the leader and follow our competencies that's already in place, right? Our Zoom webinars, our Saturday Q&A, our Sunday momentum call, our live trading sessions, our trade alerts, the things that are available to you as resources to help you grow your business so you don't have to develop those systems. That's the power in this. So to say that, I don't know, it's going to be different for everybody, but I do believe the person who vibrates at the highest vibration gets there faster. I'll say that, right? When your intensity is at such a high frequency that you attract that same kind of frequency, it just speeds things up. I promise you. The low vibration, you're going to attract the low vibration, which could possibly be no vibration, right? Depending on how low that vibration is. But the high vibrations do some amazing things. And of course, we want to have our competencies in the right place with high vibration, in the right activities, high vibration. Hope I answered that with some kind of help, my brother. Don't know. Everybody's journey is different. Anybody else? No more questions? All right, guys. Any back office questions? Any questions Tradera related? Go ahead. Anything. I know you guys got some. I will encourage you to do this. Make sure you have your IBO membership purchased once you have 3 referrals. They will not automatically waive your $99. You must purchase your IBO before your renewal date. Even after you've referred 3, you have to upgrade the IBO. Okay, I've said it then, I'm gonna say it again. You'll hear me repeat that over and over because we learned the hard way. And so let's make sure we're sharing that information, making sure that the newest person today understands once they've enrolled 3, they definitely want to get upgraded and become a business partner. All right, guys, no questions. I'm gonna jump off, let you have the rest of your weekly closeout. Remember, we're back on live tomorrow at 12 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern time to actually present for you and your team, right? This platform is designed for the success of your residual business. And we're excited to actually help you serve you in that capacity. All right. I still don't see any questions. So guys, have a phenomenal evening. I love each and every one of you. I can't wait to actually see you and hug you again, corona free. And we'll see you back next week for our Sunday Momentum call. Of course, in the meantime, 3-way calls, private Zoom meetings, whatever we got to do. Let's get you ranked up and banked up. God bless. Good night.